bustling cities of the United States, stories both chilling and captivating often circulate among those who seek love and connection. Among these tales, one stands out, a story of a ghostly figure who weaves his charm across the nation, leaving behind a trail of broken hearts and lives forever changed. Once upon a time, in the vibrant city of Chicago, a legend began to grow about a man named Ethan Cole. Standing at an astonishing 6.6 feet tall, he was handsome beyond words, with tousled dark hair and piercing blue eyes that seemed to see right into the soul of anyone he met. Women couldn't resist his charm. His presence was magnetic. He drove flashy cars that gleamed under the city lights, and his wealth was evident in the lavish lifestyle he led. Ethan had a special talent for making women feel like they were the only person in the world. With romantic gestures, he would take them to exquisite dinners by candlelight or joyful outings to amusement parks filled with laughter. Each date felt like a scene from a fairy tale, where the princess had finally found her prince. His words were sweet like honey, and he made promises that painted a future filled with love and happiness. However, there was one detail he always shared during their dates that intrigued and confused those who fell under his spell. He claimed he lived with his parents, saying he wanted to bring a woman home only when he felt something serious blossoming between them. For many, this was a refreshing change from the typical dating scene, where men often rushed into things without considering emotions. As the relationship deepened, Ethan would eventually lead his unsuspecting companions to upscale hotels, creating intimate settings that felt both safe and thrilling. In each encounter, he kindled fierce passion, igniting feelings they had never experienced before. Yet, as quickly as the magic sparked, it often faded, leaving shadows of doubt in its wake. Months later, each woman would find herself grappling with a shocking realization: she was pregnant. Confusion turned to panic as they tried to reach out to Ethan, but he had mysteriously vanished. No phone calls answered, no text returned. He had slipped away like a wisp of smoke, leaving only memories behind. In their desperation, many of these women began to seek answers. They gathered their stories, tracing Ethan's origins back to popular cities across the country. The deeper they dug, the more horrifying the truth became. They discovered that not only had they fallen prey to his charm, but they were also part of a disturbing pattern. Reports began to surface of other women who, like them, had met a man fitting Ethan's description. Each had lived through the same enchanting experiences, and had each borne his child. As they connected the dots, these women learned that Ethan had impregnated at least 7 others across multiple states, each with a story eerily similar to their own. Their hearts heavy with betrayal, the search grew urgent. They united, sharing details, piecing together a timeline of his appearances. From Miami to San Francisco, Ethan left behind echoes of laughter and tears, weaving a tapestry of love that masked something far darker beneath its surface. On a warm summer night, the group decided to confront the mystery head-on. They visited the cities he had frequented, searching for signs, for whispers of his name. In each place they felt a strange chill, an atmosphere that prickled the back of their necks. It was as if Ethan lingered just beyond their reach, haunting them in a way they couldn't quite understand. Their journey led them to a small cafe in Boston, where a waitress mentioned seeing a tall, charming man just a week prior. With renewed hope, they hurried to a nearby hotel where he had supposedly stayed. Upon checking in, they learned that he had indeed been there, registered under a different name, one that further deepened their suspicions. Searching for answers, they combed through old newspaper clippings and online forums, uncovering legends of a man rumored to have vanished under mysterious circumstances years prior. Was Ethan truly alive, or was he a ghost, an echo of someone lost to time? Haunted by questions, the group gathered one final time in the flickering light of a candle, discussing what they had uncovered. With every passing moment, their fear grew, mixed with an unsettling sense of longing for closure. They spoke of their children, the lives they would nurture, and the emptiness left by a father who could vanish so easily. It was as if the walls of their shared grief closed in around them, enveloping them in darkness. They realized they had not only been misled but also perhaps enchanted by a spirit who thrived on their hopes and dreams. Was Ethan a man who used his charm for ill intentions? Or was he merely a ghost wandering in a world he once belonged to? The others nodded, their hearts aching for her and for their own lost hopes. I started to feel something strange when I was with him, added Maya, who had met Ethan in Los Angeles. There were moments when I felt like he wasn't even there with me. Sometimes it was like talking to a ghost. Everything felt so perfect, yet something was always off. As they exchanged stories, a chilling realization began to settle among them. Perhaps Ethan wasn't just a charming con artist. He might be something far more eerie, a figure that embodied their desires, a man who appeared to bring joy but left a trail of sorrow in his wake. The idea sent shivers down their spines. Could he be a phantom, a presence existing purely to lure us into his web? Ellen, a young mother from New York City, whispered, her voice barely above a breath. What if he draws energy from our hopes? What if we were never meant to hold on to him? The room fell silent, the weight of this new revelation heavy in the air. A chilling realization crept over them like the shadows dancing on the walls. They were not just victims, they were threads woven into his dark tapestry. Deciding they needed to seek closure, they agreed to visit the places where Ethan had left his mark. They would confront the remnants of their relationships and reclaim their power. Empowered, they left the cafe and ventured into the night, darkness wrapping around them like an old cloak. Their first stop was Chicago, where it all began. The skyline loomed above them, casting long shadows as they retraced their steps to the hotels Ethan often visited. They stood outside one of the opulent establishments, the very place where Sarah had fallen under his spell. Their hearts raced as they remembered the joyous moments twisted into nightmares. They entered the hotel, following the trail of memories, and found themselves standing in the lobby, filled with the laughter of other couples checking in. It felt surreal, almost otherworldly, as they gazed at the grandeur surrounding them. The staff recognized Sarah and Maya, who had been frequent guests when they were with Ethan. With a nod of acknowledgement, they made their way to the elevator, taking it up to the floor where their fateful encounters occurred. As they stepped out of the elevator, the air turned thick, charged with unspoken tension. Each woman felt an unease settle deep within her. They approached what had once been Sarah's room, the door still painted in the same warm colors that felt hauntingly alive. Let's do this, Maya urged, her voice steadier now. If he is here, we will find him. If not, she paused, then we confront what he took from us. Gathering their courage, they knocked on the door, fully expecting the worst. But as they waited, a profound silence enveloped them. No answer came, only the distant hum of the city outside. The laughter, the music, life moving forward while they stood frozen in time. Just then, a chill swept through the hallway, a cold breeze that felt unnatural. It brushed past them like a whisper, sending goosebumps rippling across their skin. They exchanged wary glances, a sense of unease settling deeper within. Suddenly, they heard a soft laugh, one that echoed in a way that was unsettling. Ladies, a voice called, smooth and velvety. It was unmistakably Ethan's voice, yet somehow layered with an eerie echo that sent shivers down their spines. I see you've come looking for answers, but are you ready for the truth? The air crackled as he materialized before them, his form ethereal and shimmering, half in shadow and half in reality. He seemed just as handsome, standing tall and proud, yet there was something distinctly off. His eyes flickered with a depth that belied human emotion. Ethan. Sarah gasped, stepping back, disbelief mingling with fear. You're a ghost? A ghost? He chuckled, amusement dancing on his lips. I prefer to think of myself as a wanderer, a seeker of connection. You see, I'm not bound by the limits of your world. I roam where I please, drawing from the lives I touch. As Ethan's words curled around them like smoke, thick and intoxicating. Time seemed to stretch, each heartbeat echoing in the silence that followed. Draw from us. Maya found her voice tinged with anger. You used us. We were just tools for your amusement. Ethan smiled, his expression enigmatic. Tools? Perhaps, but also vessels of hope and desire. Each of you gave me something unique, a piece of joy, a fleeting moment of laughter, and I simply borrowed it. You think you came to me out of solitude? No, you sought connection and I merely answered your call. I made you feel alive, didn't I? His words hung in the air, laden with a dark allure that was hard to dismiss. The women stood frozen, their minds racing. They had felt the magic in those moments together, the way he lit up their lives like flickering candles in darkness. But was it all an illusion? Is this why we can't forget you? Ellen whispered, her eyes glassy with realization. Because you took pieces of us, leaving us incomplete? Ethan tilted his head as if pondering her question. Exactly. And yet here you are, seeking closure. So, Who is the one haunted now? He stepped closer, a predatory glint in his eye. You think by confronting me you reclaim what was lost? What if I told you that I never meant to hurt any of you? I needed your light to exist. When I leave, that light fades and you are left with mere shadows. A wave of anguish washed over them at his confession. Their encounters, once painted in colors of warmth and love, now felt tainted with a sense of exploitation. But as they stood there, discovering the depths of their hurt, a glimmer of defiance sparked within them. Enough. Sarah spoke fiercely, stepping forward. You may have taken our joy, but you won't take our strength. We will no longer let you control our journey. We know who we are, and it's time to reclaim ourselves. The air shimmered, the confrontation igniting something deep within them. Each woman began to remember the reasons they had loved themselves, the beauty of their individuality, overshadowed during their time with him. They linked hands, forming a circle, grounding themselves as a united force against the entity before them. Ethan's expression shifted from amusement to confusion, the spectral glow dimming. What are you doing? He asked, a hint of panic creeping into his voice. We're stepping back into our own light. Maya shouted, raising their joined hands higher. You've taken enough from us. We're done being your vessels. With conviction, they chanted affirmations of their independence, speaking louder and louder until the words reverberated against the walls, shaking the very foundation of the space they occupied. We are whole. We are strong. We are not your puppets. As their voices rose in unison, a pulse of energy radiated outward. Ethan's form flickered, his handsome features distorting under the weight of their resolve. The shadows around him writhed as if trying to pull him back, but he was losing his grasp. No, you can't leave me, he cried, his voice now laced with desperation. I am the spark that brought you together. But the women held firm, their unity an unbreakable force. With one final chant, they released their grip on him, shattering the remnants of their bond. In an explosive burst of light, Ethan's form dissolved into a myriad of shimmering fragments, scattering into the air like lost dreams. As the echoes of his laughter faded, the women stood together in the newfound silence, a sense of calm washing over them. They breathed deeply, the weight of Ethan's hold lifted, clarity enveloping them. Whatever he was, Helen said softly, we are free now. We hold the power to create our own stories. One by one, they looked at each other, smiles breaking through their earlier despair. They would carry the lessons learned, not as scars but as badges of resilience. Embracing their new freedom, they stepped out of the shadowed hallway into the bright vibrancy of the city beyond, ready to stand tall, empowered by their shared experience. Together, they turned towards the horizon, the future ahead filled with limitless possibilities, all waiting for them to seize. And so, as the night deepened and the stars twinkled overhead, they walked into their new lives, forever bonded by the truth they had uncovered, each taking their place in the world anew. They were no longer vessels. They were warriors of their own destinies.